More disruption could be coming to the wireless industry. Google getting ready to unveil its new U.S. wireless service. Brian Haven, who follows the wireless business over at IDC, joins us now with more. So great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So Brian, explain exactly how a Google mobile plan would work and why it's unique.
Sure. So Google will be what's considered an MVNO. So they don't own any spectrum licenses. What they do essentially is they'll lease space from typically a nationwide carrier. What makes this one unique is typically MVNOs, they focus on a certain geographical area or a certain demographic, so they don't really do it to the scale that could disrupt the overall market. Google does not fit that category at all. Google has a strong presence in the mobile market, primarily through its Android operating system, which includes a number of different device manufacturers and extends carriers worldwide. In addition to that, they have apps that we all use like Gmail, Google Maps, and stuff like that. So this has the potential to make a meaningful impact on the overall wireless market.
And part of the reason for that, you say, is because of the Google brand and what that means to consumers.
Absolutely. So Google is a brand that people know about, and it's a brand people trust. It's not, one of these small regional MVNOs that people don't really know about that is just trying to offer the same services on a smaller scale. Google does bring a great amount of brand equity to the wireless market with this offering, and I think that has the potential to resonate with a subset of the U.S. subscriber base.
And speaking of that, who would this appeal to? What's their target market?
I think it's hard to say right now. We're still waiting on some of the details about how big of a market they're looking to cover, what the price points are going to be, whether they are going to extend it to a device other than the Nexus 6. I think one of the important themes from last year was the extent to which carriers were willing to go to attract subscribers. We saw payment of early termination fees, payment of device balances. So it'll be interesting to see how Google is going to market this, how they're going to have a bill for it, have people pay for it, and what they're willing to do to get subscribers on board.
Well, and then the flip side is, why would companies like Sprint and T-Mobile even agree to be partners here?
Well, assuming that Sprint and T-Mobile are the carriers that they choose to go with, I think it's a mutually beneficial relationship. For someone like T-Mobile, they saw a really strong 2014 in terms of subscriber growth as well as revenue. But to get to that next level, to chase AT&T and Verizon, it's probably going to take a little bit more than just a couple other instances of Un-carrier. This can give them a push subscriber-wise and revenue-wise to get to that next level and start to apply the pressure. And for someone like Sprint, who probably had a less than ideal year, this can help them, again, boost their subscriber bases and contribute a marginal but not insignificant amount of revenue until they can kind of solve this identity crisis that they're in.
For Google, how does this fit into their master plan? Because they've alluded to it, but it's always been on a small scale. What's in it for Google?
So I think one of the important points of this whole thing is it allows Google to potentially extend the amount of endpoints they have with users and collect data that'll help to drive their platforms with things like, say, advertising. Google collects a lot of data through their search engines, through their operating system, and through their devices, and I think that just adds to that.
For the sector as a whole, does it make it more efficient? Because some of these plans, for example, are just usage-based, where usually we have a lot of customers paying it on tier plans right now. This could be just pay for what you use. Does that change the game as well?
I think it does to a certain extent. I think we were starting to see some of these rollover data packages with people like AT&T and T-Mobile. But the idea that subscribers are only paying for the data they're using, I think that'll resonate, and that seems to be the direction in which the market is going.
All right, thank you so much, Brian.
My pleasure.
Our thanks to Brian Haven of IDC. I'm Bobby Rebell. This is Reuters.